In a place that exists just beyond the edge of the waking world, high atop a single, slender mountain that pierced the veil between the earth and the heavens, lived a painter named Silas. His home was not made of wood or stone, but of solidified cloud and spun moonlight, a quiet, pearlescent perch known as the Spire of Somnus. Silas was the cloud painter. He did not work with oils or watercolors, and his canvas was not linen stretched over a wooden frame. His canvas was the vast, endless expanse of the sky itself, and his pigments were the very essence of light and shadow, of warmth and coolness, of silence and sound. Every morning, before the world below had even begun to stir, Silas would awaken. He would step out onto his balcony, a curved lip of polished moonstone that hung over a sea of white, fluffy clouds. The air here was thin and sharp, tasting of ozone and clean, cold emptiness. It was a lonely existence, but it was not without its profound beauty. From this vantage point, Silas was the first to greet the sun. He didn't just watch the sunrise, he painted it. His brush, with a handle carved from a fallen star and bristles woven from the mane of a wind spirit, would dip into a palette holding the last vestiges of deep, sleepy indigo from the night. With a slow, deliberate sweep of his arm, he would pull a thread of the palest rose gold across the eastern horizon. He would watch as the color seeped into the dark canvas, bleeding softly at the edges, warming the world with its gentle fire. He would add touches of soft apricot, dabs of lavender, and finally a brilliant, blinding wash of pure, liquid sunlight that would spill over the mountains and into the valleys of the sleeping world below. His days were spent in a quiet rhythm of creation. He would paint the fat, lazy cumulus clouds of a summer afternoon, their edges bright and their hearts full of shadow. He would take the gray melancholy of a winter sky and blend it with such care that it became a soft, comforting blanket, promising the gentle percussion of rain. Distant, soft rumble of thunder. He painted the thin, wispy cirrus clouds, dragging them across the high atmosphere like strokes of chalk. He painted storms, not with anger, but with a deep, artistic passion, layering the deep grays and purples, adding the crackle of lightning not as a flash of violence, but as a brilliant silver accent. He was a master of his craft, an artist whose gallery was seen by every soul in the world, though none of them knew his name. They would look up and feel a sense of peace from a perfectly blue sky, or a touch of awe at a particularly dramatic sunset, never knowing that these feelings were the intended result of a specific brushstroke, a carefully chosen hue. But the silence of the spire, once a companion, had begun to feel heavy. The wind spirits that brought him his bristles whispered tales of the world below, of laughter and shared warmth. The starlight he used for his silver paint hummed with the energy of a million distant lives. Silas, for all his mastery over the sky, was profoundly alone. He had painted countless sunrises to wake the world, and endless twilight skies to lull it to sleep, but he had no one to share them with. His creations were vast and beautiful, but they were also fleeting. A perfect sunset would fade to black. A majestic storm cloud would spend its rain and dissipate into nothingness. He longed to create something that would last, something that would stay. One evening, as he was putting the finishing touches on a spectacular tapestry of sunset clouds, an idea sparked within him, a flicker as bright and sudden as the first evening star he was dabbing into the deep violet sky. What if he could paint something more than just light and water vapor? What if he could use his celestial pigments to paint life? Not the grand, complex life of the world below, but something simpler, something born of the sky itself. A companion. The thought took root in his heart and blossomed with an excitement he hadn't felt in centuries. For the first time, his work was not for the world below, but for himself. He spent the next several days in preparation, a quiet, focused energy buzzing around him. This would require the finest of his materials. He could not use the common light of day or the ordinary shadows of a cloud. He needed something more, something with a spark of magic. He waited for the night of a new moon, when the sky was at its darkest and the stars were at their most brilliant. With a basket woven from reeds of moonlight, he ventured out. He journeyed to the place where the aurora borealis slept during the day, and he carefully scraped a small amount of its dreaming, shifting green and pink light into a crystal vial. Sound of soft, ethereal scraping, like sand made of light. He traveled to the heart of a slumbering nebula, and with a gentle net of woven silence, he captured the deep, wise purple of its core. He found a comet streaking across the cosmos and plucked a single trailing spark of its icy blue fire. A quick, sharp zing sound, followed by a sizzling hum. His most important ingredient, however, was the most delicate. He waited for the precise moment when the first ray of dawn touched the last glimmer of fading starlight. In that fleeting, magical instant, a color was born that existed for only a breath. A warm, living gold, filled with the promise of a new day and the memory of a starry dream. With an impossibly fine brush, he captured that single drop of nascent light, and it pulsed in his palette with a soft, gentle life of its own. He returned to his perch high on the spire, his collection of rare pigments glowing around him. He didn't begin his work on the open canvas of the sky. Instead, he chose a quiet, sheltered alcove behind his home, where the winds were soft and the air was still. This was to be a secret, a quiet miracle just for him. He took a deep breath, the thin, cold air filling his lungs, and he dipped his finest brush, one with a single, perfect bristle, into the dreaming light of the aurora. He began to paint in the air itself. There was no canvas, only the empty space before him. But as he drew, the light flowed from his brush and hung in the air, a shimmering, translucent line of pale green. He started with a shape he had seen in his mind's eye, a creature of gentleness and curiosity. He painted the curve of a small back, the delicate arch of a slender neck. He used the icy blue of the comet's fire to sketch 4 dainty legs and a long, elegant tail. He worked with a focus so intense that the world around him seemed to fade away. There was only the dance of his hand, the whisper of the bristle through the air, and the glowing form taking shape before him. He used the deep purple of the nebula to give the creature depth and shadow, a hint of cosmic wisdom in its nascent form. He sculpted its shape not with clay, but with layers of light, making it semi-transparent, like spun glass and captured fog. It was shaped something like a small fox, but its form was fluid, less a physical body and more a coherent, contained cloud of gentle light. Its fur was not fur at all, but soft, swirling wisps of glowing mist. The process took hours, stretching through the deep silence of the night. Silas poured all of his loneliness, all of his longing for companionship, and all of his artistic soul into every stroke. Finally, the form was complete. A small, luminous fox made of starlight and nebula hovered in the air before him, perfect and still. It was beautiful, a masterpiece of light and color, but it was lifeless. It was just a statue, albeit a magical one. The final, most crucial step remained. With a hand that trembled ever so slightly, Silas took up the brush with the single drop of living gold, the color of dawn and starlight combined. He leaned forward, his heart pounding a slow, heavy rhythm in the silent air. He gently touched the tip of the brush to the spot where the creature's heart would be. The moment the gold touched the form, it did not just color it, it flowed into it. A wave of warm light pulsed through the creature's translucent body, from its chest to the tip of its tail to the points of its ears. The static lines of light began to move, to swirl and eddy like gentle currents in a calm sea. The colors deepened, the greens and blues and purples swirling together in a mesmerizing, living dance. The small creature, which had been still as glass, twitched. Its head lifted slowly. 2 eyes, the color of the deep, wise nebula, blinked open. They were not just points of light. They held a deep, ancient curiosity. The cloud fox looked at Silas, its creator, and tilted its head. It took a silent, shimmering breath, and its form solidified just a fraction more, becoming less a painting and more a being.
It did not make a sound, but Silas could feel its nascent consciousness, a gentle question floating in the air between them. He had done it. He had not just painted a picture, he had painted a soul. Silas felt a tear trace a path down his cheek, the first he had shed in 1,000 years. He reached out a hand, slowly, not wanting to frighten his new creation. The little fox of light, which he decided to call Lumi, watched his hand approach. After a moment of hesitation, it took a tentative step forward, its paws making no sound on the moonstone floor. It nudged its glowing nose against his fingers, and the touch was not solid, but felt like the warmth of the sun on a cool day, like a spark of static electricity, like a whisper. Lumi was real. For many days and nights, Lumi stayed by Silas's side. It would watch with wide, curious eyes as he painted the skies. It would chase the motes of starlight that fell from his brush and pounce on the errant wisps of cloud that drifted through the spire. It was a silent companion, but its presence filled the vast emptiness of Silas's world with a quiet joy he had never imagined possible. It would curl up at his feet as he rested, its light pulsing in a soft, rhythmic beat, a living, breathing work of art. But Lumi was born of the sky, and its curiosity was as vast as the canvas of its birth. One evening, as Silas was painting a delicate filigree of silver moonbeams onto the edge of a sleeping thunderhead, he noticed Lumi was not in its usual spot at his feet.
He looked around and saw the little cloud fox standing at the very edge of the balcony, looking down. Not at the sea of clouds directly below, but further at the world of mortals, which on this clear night was visible as a scattering of tiny, twinkling lights. A particular cluster of lights, nestled in a deep valley, seemed to pulse with a warm, inviting glow that was different from the cold, sharp light of the stars. Lumi's form shimmered with an intensity Silas had not seen before, its tail twitching slightly. It seemed utterly captivated by the distant, tiny lights of the sleeping world. Before Silas could speak, before he could even move, Lumi took a graceful, weightless leap from the edge of the balcony. It did not fall. It floated, drifting downwards on the gentle currents of the night air, a single, glowing spark of life descending from the heavens, drawn by a mysterious warmth towards the unknown world below. For a long moment, Silas stood frozen, his paintbrush held aloft, a single droplet of liquid silver quivering on its tip. The quiet of his spire, once a peaceful comfort, was suddenly a vast and aching silence. The space at his feet, where Lumi had always curled up, felt colder than the void between stars. He rushed to the edge of the balcony, his heart a frantic drum against his ribs. He leaned over, his long fingers gripping the smooth, cool stone, and watched the tiny, receding spark of his friend. Lumi was a falling star in reverse, not burning out, but gently floating into a world Silas only ever painted from a distance. He felt a helplessness he hadn't known since before he had learned to paint. He couldn't follow. His body was bound to the spire, his essence woven into its pearlescent walls. But his art was not. Turning from the balcony, he strode back to his workshop. He didn't pick up the brushes he used for thunderheads or sunrises. He went to a small, velvet-lined box and took out a brush made from a single, moon-white feather with a handle of petrified willow wood. He dipped it not into his pots of pigment, but into a shallow bowl of pure, clear water that held the reflection of every star in the sky. He brought the dripping brush to a pane of clear, solid air beside the balcony door. With a single, fluid stroke, he painted a circle. The air within the circle shimmered and then cleared, not to the familiar view of his balcony, but to a view from just above and behind the descending cloud fox. He could see Lumi's soft, glowing form as it drifted, its ears perked with curiosity, its small body a beacon in the deep, velvet dark. Silas could watch. He could not interfere, but he could bear witness. He settled onto a low stool, his gaze fixed upon the magical window, a silent guardian watching from the top of the world. Lumi, untroubled by the immense height or the sudden separation, felt only a gentle and pervasive sense of wonder. The currents of air that carried it were like a slow, invisible river. They were warmer than the thin, crisp air of the Spire, and they carried scents Lumi had never known. The first was the clean, cold scent of ice crystals that formed the highest, wispiest clouds, the mare's tails that Silas would often paint with the flick of a dry brush. Lumi drifted right through them, and the touch was like brushing through a spider's web made of frost. Tiny, shimmering motes of ice clung to its fur for a moment before melting into pinpricks of light. Lower it drifted, into the thicker, pillowy realms of the great cumulus clouds. From the Spire, these looked like solid mountains of white fluff. From the inside, they were a disorienting, beautiful world of their own. Lumi was enveloped in a soft, gray mist, a gentle, damp blanket that muted the light of the stars above. The air was heavy with the taste of unshed rain. It was not dark, for Lumi's own light cast a soft, pulsing glow, illuminating the swirling vapor around it. It felt like swimming through a ghost, a gentle, formless space where sound was muffled and the only direction was down. It tumbled and spun in the slow-moving interior, a playful dance in the heart of a future storm. Emerging from the base of the cloud, the world below was suddenly sharper, closer. The scattered lights were no longer a faint smear. They were distinct points of warm, golden light. And with the clarity of sight came the first true sounds of the world. A deep, resonant hooting sound echoed from a dark patch of trees far below. It was a lonely, beautiful sound that seemed to speak of secrets and shadows. Then came another sound, a high, rhythmic chirping, 1,000 tiny voices singing a song to the night. It was the world's own heartbeat, a pulse of life that the silent Spire never had. Lumi's ears, which looked like they were spun from mist, twitched, trying to place each new note in the symphony of the dark. The air grew richer still. It smelled of green, living things, of damp earth and the sweet perfume of flowers opening only for the moon. The wind that carried it was no longer a vast stratospheric current, but a more intimate breeze that whispered through the leaves of unseen trees. It guided Lumi towards that warm cluster of lights in the valley, which now resolved itself into a small village, nestled by a winding ribbon of silver that had to be a river.
Silas watched, his knuckles white where he gripped the willow wood brush. He saw Lumi pass through the clouds, saw its light illuminate the mists from within. He couldn't feel the dampness or smell the earth, but he could see the wonder in the tilt of Lumi's head, the curious flick of its tail. He felt a pang of longing so sharp it almost made him gasp. He was the painter of the world, but he had never truly felt it. Lumi was his creation, his child of Starlight, and it was now touching the world in a way he never could. He leaned closer to his magical window, his breath fogging the air around its edge, not wanting to miss a single moment. Lumi's descent slowed as it neared the ground. The great invisible river of air deposited it as gently as a falling leaf. Its paws, which had only ever known the smooth, cool moonstone of the Spire, made contact with something new. It was soft and cool and damp, and it yielded slightly under Lumi's weightless tread. It was moss, a thick, velvety carpet of moss growing at the base of an enormous tree at the edge of a dark wood. Lumi took a tentative step, then another. The sensation was delightful. It sank its glowing paws into the plush carpet, feeling the moisture and the life of it. It looked up. The tree was a giant, its branches a complex ladderwork against the starry sky that was now so much further away. The leaves rustled in the breeze, a sound like soft, shuffling paper. A sound of life. Everything here was alive. The chirping crickets, the hooting owl, the breathing leaves, the fragrant, damp earth. Lumi, born of silent light and dust, was standing in the heart of a world that hummed and buzzed and sang with existence. Its curiosity, now a powerful, undeniable force, drew it out from the shadow of the great tree.
It followed a barely there path worn into the earth by the passage of animals. The path led to the edge of the village. The houses were dark shapes with golden eyes, their windows filled with the soft, flickering glow of lamplight or the dying embers of a hearth. The air here was different again, carrying the scent of wood smoke, of baked bread, and something floral and sweet from the gardens that slumbered behind low stone walls. The ground changed again beneath its paws. The soft earth gave way to cool, rounded stones, fitted together to form a narrow street. They were called cobblestones, and they held the day's warmth long after the sun had gone, releasing it slowly into the night air. Lumi padded silently along the street, its own light making the damp stones glisten as if they were scattered with diamond dust. It was a ghost of light, a whisper of a creature in a sleeping town. It passed a house where a window had been left open just a crack.
From within came the soft, rhythmic sound of breathing, the sound of a family sleeping peacefully. Lumi paused, its head cocked, mesmerized by this simple, profound music of life. On the windowsill, a large, fluffy cat lay curled in a tight ball, its tail occasionally twitching in a dream of chasing mice. Lumi watched it for a long time. It had chased motes of starlight, but this creature dreamed of chasing other living things. The thought was strange and new. The cat's ear twitched, sensing a change in the light or the air, but it did not wake. It simply snuggled deeper into its fur and sighed a soft, contented sigh. Lumi continued its journey, drawn now by the sound of water. It found the source of the silver ribbon it had seen from above. A stream, the Glimmer Brook, flowed right through the heart of the village. A small stone bridge arched over it, and the water chuckled and murmured as it flowed over smooth, mossy stones. Lumi crept to the water's edge and peered in. Its own glowing form was reflected on the surface, a wobbly, distorted version of itself. But there were other lights in the water too, the reflections of the stars, looking close enough to touch. And something else. Tiny, blinking lights moved through the water itself, a constellation of living creatures. Glowworms or some magical water bug dancing in the gentle current. Lumi lowered its head and touched the water with its nose. The sensation was a shock. It was cool and wet and utterly real. Not like the dry mist of the clouds, but a liquid weight that clung to its muzzle. It took a hesitant lap. The water tasted of stone and moss and moonlight. It was the taste of the world. From his spire, Silas let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. He saw Lumi drinking from the stream, saw its reflected light mingling with the reflected stars. It looked as though the heavens had come down to meet the earth, all within that little cloud fox. The aching in his chest had not vanished, but it was joined now by a profound sense of peace. Lumi was not lost. It was exploring. It was learning the textures and tastes of the world Silas could only paint. Lumi left the stream and was drawn to a new scent, warm and spicy and sweet. It came from a building with a wide wooden sign shaped like a loaf of bread. The baker's shop. On a wooden bench near the back door, a wire rack of buns had been left out to cool. The scent of cinnamon and sugar was a warm, invisible cloud in the night air. Lumi circled the rack, its nose twitching. It was a scent that spoke of comfort, of homes, of gentle hands kneading dough. It was the opposite of the cold, clean, mineral scent of stardust. It was a scent of hearth and heart. As it explored, Lumi noticed the way the light worked here. On the spire, light was a pure, direct thing, coming from the stars, the nebula, or Silas's brush. Here, light was playful and indirect. The glow from a distant lantern would catch on a spider's web, turning it into a net of silver. It would filter through the leaves of a climbing rose, throwing dappled, dancing patterns on a cottage wall. Light was something to be shaped, bent, and softened by the world it touched. It was a profound lesson for a creature made of light itself. It found a small town square, empty in the deep of night. In the center stood a large, circular well made of dark stones. A wooden bucket on a rope sat on its edge. Lumi hopped silently onto the stone rim and peered down into the darkness.
It was a perfect circle of black, a hole in the world. But as its eyes adjusted, it saw a single faint point of light at the very bottom, the reflection of a single bright star, framed by the circle of the well. It was like looking through a long telescope, back up towards the home it had left behind. For the first time, a feeling akin to Silas's loneliness touched Lumi's heart. It was a small, quiet feeling, not of sadness, but of distance. Of the vast space between the star and the well and the star creature looking down at it. It sat there for a long time, on the edge of the well in the sleeping village, a tiny luminous being, a bridge between the celestial and the terrestrial. It watched the star and the water, and the wind whispered through the eaves of the old houses, and the Glimmerbrook murmured its endless gentle song. The world of mortals was not loud or frightening. It was quiet and soft and full of a deep, peaceful magic all its own. Lumi was not afraid. It was simply listening. Listening to the gentle, sleeping breath of the world. And it knew, with a certainty that had no need for words, that this was only the beginning of its journey. It felt the pull of the village, the warmth of the sleeping lives within it, and it felt the distant, steady love of the painter watching from his spire in the sky. The two feelings were not in conflict. They were two different kinds of light, and at this moment, Lumi was standing right where they met. A gentle puff of wind, smelling of cool river stones and night-blooming jasmine, stirred the air. It was a silent invitation. Lumi tilted its head, its glow softening and warming slightly, and hopped from the well's edge. Its feet made no sound on the cobblestones as it drifted into the narrow lane that led away from the square. The village was a tapestry of gentle presences. Lumi floated past the baker's shop, where the air was still faintly warm and held the ghost of a scent of yeast and cinnamon.
A deep, contented sigh seemed to emanate from the very walls, a memory of the day's good work. A fat, ginger cat was curled on the windowsill, a perfect circle of slumber. As Lumi passed, one of the cat's ears twitched, not in alarm, but as if acknowledging a pleasant thought in a dream. Lumi paused, pulsing its light in a soft, slow rhythm, a silent greeting to a fellow creature of the night. It moved on, a tiny, wandering lantern. It peered into the weaver's workshop, where moonlight streamed through a tall window. The light fell across the silent looms, great wooden skeletons threaded with the potential for color and warmth. The moonlight didn't reveal the vibrant dyes of the threads, only their texture, their form. It showed the silver of the silk, the deep, soft black of the wool. Lumi understood. This was night's own palette, a different kind of beauty, one of shape and shadow, of rest and readiness. Further down the lane, a tiny, rhythmic ticking could be heard. It was the clockmaker's shop. Inside, dozens of clocks, large and small, were stilled for the night, their pendulums unhooked and sleeping. But one, the clockmaker's own masterwork on his bench, kept a quiet, steady heartbeat for the whole village. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It wasn't a sound of urgency, but a sound of constancy. It was the peaceful rhythm of time itself, breathing, slow and even, through the darkness. Lumi hovered by the glass, its own light seeming to pulse in time with the gentle beat. It was the lullaby of the world going on, a promise that morning would, eventually, and without hurry, arrive. It was then that Lumi felt something else. Not a sound, not a sight, but a feeling. A small, tangled knot of restlessness in the otherwise smooth, deep ocean of the village's sleep. It was coming from a small cottage with a steep thatched roof where the climbing rose through its dancing patterns against the wall. A single window was open, just a crack on the second floor, a dark sliver in the moon-washed wall. Drawn by this subtle discord, Lumi drifted upwards, as light and silent as a dandelion seed. It slipped through the open space and into a small, simple room. The air inside was warm and smelled of lavender and clean linen. A little girl was asleep in a small wooden bed, her face scrunched up in the dim light. Her breathing was quick and shallow, and her hands were clenching the edge of her quilt. She was caught in the brambles of a bad dream. In her dream, she was lost in a forest where the trees had long, scratchy fingers and the shadows writhed like snakes. The path she was on had disappeared,
and a low, rumbling sound was getting closer and closer. It was a classic childhood fear, a story of being small and alone in a world that was too big and too dark.
Lumi floated into the center of the room, its light still soft and unobtrusive. It did not want to wake the child. It did not want to banish the darkness. It remembered the lesson of the moonlight and the rose leaves. Light was something to be shaped, bent, and softened. It saw a mobile hanging from a wooden beam above the bed. It was made of polished glass and cut-out paper shapes, a crescent moon, a smiling sun, and a flock of birds. Lumi drifted up to it and settled gently on the largest of the glass spheres. It poured a tiny fraction of its starlight into the glass, not a bright beam, but a soft internal glow, like a captured firefly. The glass sphere began to radiate, a warm, honeyed light. This light, in turn, touched the other parts of the mobile. The little paper birds were no longer just gray shapes in the gloom. They became silhouettes against the new, gentle light source. The crescent moon caught a sliver of the glow on its edge, turning it to polished silver. The whole mobile began to turn, ever so slowly, in the subtle currents of the air. And as it turned, it began to cast new shadows on the walls and ceiling. But these were not the frightening, writhing shadows of the child's dream. They were soft, slow-moving shapes. The paper birds became a flock of peaceful creatures, gliding through a calm, dusky sky. The sphere of light became a gentle, low-hanging moon. The dappled patterns danced on the walls, not like grasping fingers, but like the gentle leaves of a sunlit forest. In the little girl's dream, the world began to change. The scratchy, claw-like branches of the trees softened, and from their tips, tiny, glowing blossoms began to open, lighting the path ahead. The writhing shadows on the ground became friendly, furry creatures that peeked out from behind the trees and then scurried away playfully. And the low, rumbling sound that had been so frightening, it became a deep, soothing purr. A giant, fluffy bear the size of a small hill ambled out of the woods. It wasn't scary at all. It had kind, sleepy eyes, and its fur looked as soft as a cloud. It lay down on a patch of moss, curled into a ball, and its deep, purring snore was the most comforting sound in the world. The little girl in the dream curled up near its warm, soft side, feeling completely safe, and drifted into a deeper, more peaceful sleep. In the room, the child's face relaxed. Her breathing slowed, becoming deep and even. A small, contented smile touched her lips. Her hands uncurled from the quilt and lay open and peaceful at her sides. Lumi watched from the mobile, its light a soft, steady pulse of contentment. It hadn't fought the darkness. It had simply added its own gentle light, and in doing so, had transformed the story the darkness was telling.
High above, in his spire that touched the edge of space, Silas the painter was watching. He could not see the details of the cottage or the child's room. He could only see Lumi, a single, tiny point of light in the sleeping town. But he saw it change. He saw it dim as it entered the cottage, and then he saw its light shift from a pure, silvery white to a soft, warm gold. He saw it pulse with a new rhythm, a rhythm that was no longer just its own, but was in harmony with something else, something small and human. A warmth spread through Silas's own chest, melting the last cool edges of his loneliness. He had sent a piece of his own light, his own creative soul, down into the world, not knowing what it would find. And it had found a purpose beyond just shining. It had found a way to share its warmth. It was tending to a dream. A quiet joy filled him, so profound and peaceful it felt like a prayer being answered. He picked up a brush dipped in the faintest, most luminous gold, and on the vast, dark canvas of the night sky, he added a single, soft touch of color to the sleeping village he was painting, right over the spot where his little star creature was resting. He wasn't just painting a scene anymore. He was painting a feeling, the feeling of connection, of gentle care given and received across an impossible distance. Lumi stayed in the child's room until the first faint hint of dawn began to soften the eastern sky. The deep, velvety black began to turn to indigo, then to a soft, misty gray. The birds in the garden began to stir,
their first tentative chirps a delicate signal that the night was ending. It was time to go. Lumi slid from the mobile, its borrowed glow fading from the glass sphere, and drifted back out the window. It didn't return to the town square. Instead, it found a deep, lush garden behind the cottage. In the center of the garden stood an old, gnarled apple tree, its branches heavy with sleeping leaves. In a crook where two thick branches met, there was a small hollow, lined with soft, dry moss. It was the perfect place to rest. Lumi settled into the mossy hollow, a perfect fit. It drew its own light inwards, dimming and dimming until it was no more than a faint, pearlescent shimmer, hidden from the coming day. It could feel the slow, steady life of the ancient tree all around it. It could hear the glimmer brook murmuring nearby, and the waking sounds of the village beginning to stir. The world was no longer just a place to observe. It was a place to be a part of. Lumi knew its journey wasn't over. There would be other nights, other windows, other dreams that needed a little bit of starlight to help them find their way.
But for now, it was enough to rest, cradled by the earth, feeling the last of the starlight from above and the first warmth of the coming sun from below. And as you lie here now, feeling your own breathing slow and deepen, you can feel that same gentle peace. Imagine that soft golden light filling your own room, chasing away any shadows, smoothing out any worries. Imagine the quiet, steady heartbeat of the sleeping world, the gentle purr of a giant friendly bear, the whisper of the wind through the eaves. All is quiet, all is safe, all is well. And in the heart of the world, a tiny spark of starlight is curled up and dreaming, just like you, waiting for the soft and gentle arrival of the morning. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. The sun had not yet risen, but its promise was a soft blush on the horizon, a secret whispered from one edge of the world to the other. Inside its mossy hollow, Lumi felt the world shift in its sleep. The old apple tree sighed, a deep, slow breath that traveled from its deepest roots up through its sturdy trunk and out through every trembling leaf. It was a sigh of contentment, of seasons lived and storms weathered, of countless dawns just like this one. Lumi, nestled in the heart of this ancient life, felt that sigh as a gentle vibration, a deep and peaceful hum that resonated with its own quiet light. The moss around it was a perfect cradle, softer than cloud fluff, warmer than held hands. It smelled of damp earth and sweet decay, the scent of life returning to itself, a cycle as old and as comforting as the stars. Lumi let its own form soften, its light pulling inward, becoming a dense, warm core of peaceful energy. It was no longer a bright spark against the dark, but a quiet pearl of light, hidden within the heart of the world. Outside the hollow, the garden was beginning to dream in color. The deep blues and purples of the night receded, making way for the gentle wash of rose and gold. A single dewdrop on the edge of a leaf caught the first hint of this new light, and for a moment, it held the entire sunrise in its tiny, perfect sphere. Lumi could feel the slow, sweet pull of the sun's warmth, a gentle touch upon the bark of the tree. It was a warmth that spoke of growth, of unfurling, of the slow and patient turning of the world. The glimmer brook, which had murmured lullabies all night, changed its tune. Its quiet whispers became a soft, cheerful burble, the sound of water waking up, eager to greet the day. It sang of smooth gray stones on its bed, of tiny silver fish darting in its currents, of the thirsty roots of the willow trees that dipped their fingers into its flow. The sound was a constant, gentle presence, a thread of liquid music weaving through the morning's quiet tapestry.
And you can hear that music too in the quiet of your room. It might not be a brook, but there is a gentle sound, a soft hum that is the sound of your own quiet world. Perhaps it is the whisper of air through a vent, or the distant sigh of the wind outside your window. Listen for it. It is the world's own lullaby, a constant reminder that all is well, all is peaceful. Lumi felt the tree begin its slow, silent work of the day. It could feel the sap, thick and sweet like liquid sunshine, begin its unhurried journey up from the roots, carrying life to the furthest, tiniest twig. It was a process so slow, so silent, it could only be felt, not seen. A deep internal river of life, flowing with a rhythm set by the sun and the moon. This was the tree's heartbeat, steady and strong, a rhythm that had pulsed in this very spot for 100 years or more. And as you lie in your bed, you can feel your own heartbeat, a quiet, steady rhythm in the center of your being. Thump, 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 thump. It is your own river of life, your own gentle rhythm, syncing up with the quiet heartbeat of the sleeping world. Let your breath match that rhythm. A slow breath in, like the tree drawing life from the earth. And a long, soft breath out, a gentle sigh of release, letting go of the day, letting go of all thoughts, all worries. In its resting place, Lumi began to dream. A starlight stream is not like our dreams. It has no people, no places, no stories. It is a dream of pure feeling, of pure light. Lumi dreamt of its home, high in the velvet darkness of the cosmos. It dreamt of floating in an endless, silent sea of indigo, where other stars hummed their silent, ancient songs. It was a song of immense peace, a harmony woven from light and gravity and time itself. Imagine that feeling now. Imagine you are floating, weightless and free, in a vast, warm, and beautiful darkness. There is no up or down, no before or after. There is only now, and the now is soft and safe. All around you, distant lights glimmer, not with a sharp, cold light, but with a soft, welcoming glow. They are nebulae, vast clouds of stardust, painted in hues of softest pink and gentle violet and deep, dreaming blue. They drift like watercolors blooming on wet paper, impossibly slow, impossibly beautiful. Lumi's dream drifted through these cosmic clouds. The stardust was not dust at all, but tiny, sleeping motes of potential, each one waiting for its time to become part of a new sun, a new world, a new flower. The dream was a journey without movement, a feeling of being connected to everything all at once. It felt the slow, majestic spin of distant galaxies, a dance on a scale so grand it was indistinguishable from stillness.
It heard the deep, resonant hum of the universe, a sound so low and so constant that it was the very texture of silence itself. And you can feel that deep, resonant peace right now. It is beneath all the little sounds of your world. It is the silence in the space between your breaths. It is the stillness in the heart of your own quiet self. Let yourself sink into that stillness. It is a soft place, a safe place. It is a place of deep, deep rest. There is nothing you need to do here, nothing you need to figure out. You only need to be, to float, to drift. Back in the garden, the first direct ray of sun finally crested the distant hills. It was a single golden finger of light that touched the highest leaf on the apple tree. The light was warm and kind. It did not startle the world awake, but rather it gently nudged it. The light traced a path down the branches, illuminating the rough texture of the bark, warming the sleeping buds, and finally finding the small mossy hollow where Lumi rested. The light did not intrude. It was a soft, golden glow that seeped into the moss, turning it from a deep forest green to a vibrant, living emerald. It filtered through the entrance to the hollow, and it touched Lumi's resting form. Lumi did not wake, but its own internal light responded to the sun's greeting. Its pearlescent shimmer brightened just a little, a flicker of acknowledgement, a dream smile. The light of the ancient sun and the light of the tiny sleeping star met and mingled, a silent greeting between the heart of the solar system and one of its smallest wandering children. The warmth spread through the moss, through the wood, a gentle, pervasive heat that was pure comfort. It was the warmth of a perfectly baked loaf of bread, the warmth of a purring cat curled on your lap, the warmth of a hug from someone who loves you very much. Let that warmth fill you now. Imagine that soft, golden sunlight is pouring into your room. It isn't bright or jarring. It is a gentle, honey-colored light, thick and slow. It drapes itself over your blankets, smoothing them out. It fills every corner of the room, chasing away any lingering shadows.
replacing them with a soft, peaceful glow. Feel that warmth seep into your blankets, making them heavy and comforting. Feel it on your eyelids, a gentle pressure inviting you to keep them softly closed. Feel it travel through your body, starting at the tips of your toes. Imagine the golden light warming your toes, making them feel heavy and relaxed. The warmth flows up into your feet, into your ankles, melting away any tightness. Let your feet be heavy, so heavy, sinking softly into the mattress. The warmth continues its journey, flowing up into your legs, your knees, your thighs, a slow, warm river of relaxation.
Every muscle it touches lets go, softens, releases. There is no need to hold on to anything. Just let go. The golden warmth pools in your belly, a soft, gentle weight, like a sleeping kitten. It rises into your chest, and you can feel your breathing become even slower, even deeper. Each breath in is soft and easy. Each breath out is a long, slow sigh of peace. The warmth flows down your arms, past your elbows, into your wrists, your hands, your fingers. Your hands feel heavy and limp, resting peacefully by your sides or on your chest. They have done all they need to do for today. Now they can simply rest. The gentle, golden warmth flows up into your shoulders, melting away any knots, any burdens you might be carrying. Let your shoulders drop. Let them sink down, 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 into the bed. The warmth soothes your neck, and your head feels heavy and perfectly supported by your pillow. The pillow is a soft cloud, holding you, cradling you. The warmth smooths the tiny muscles in your face. It smooths your forehead, uncreasing your brow. It relaxes your jaw, letting your teeth part slightly. It softens your cheeks, your lips. Your whole body is now filled with this warm, golden light of absolute peace. You are heavy and comfortable and completely at rest. Lumi, in its hollow, was in a similar state of perfect rest. The sounds of the village were beginning now, but they were distant and muffled. The clink of a milk pail, the soft crow of a rooster, far away, the gentle rumble of a baker's cart on the cobblestones. These sounds did not disturb Lumi's dream. They became part of it. They were the gentle, rhythmic sounds of the world Lumi had come to be a part of, the steady, comfortable pulse of life. They were a confirmation that everything was as it should be. The world was waking up, and Lumi was resting, gathering its light, gathering its peace, ready for the next night, the next window, the next dream. But that was a long, long way away. For now, there was only the deep, dream-filled rest in the heart of the ancient tree. And for you, too, there is only this deep, dream-filled rest. The sounds of your own home, the creaks and sighs of a house settling, are just a part of the peace. They are the sounds of safety, of comfort. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. All of your tasks are done. All of your thoughts can be set aside, like placing smooth stones on the bank of a quiet river. You can watch them sit there as you float by, on your way to the deep, calm ocean of sleep. One by one, you can let them go. Any thought about tomorrow can be placed gently on a soft green leaf and allowed to float away down the glimmer brook of your mind. Any memory from today can be tucked away, like a precious shell placed carefully in a velvet-lined box. There is only now, and now is for rest. Now is for peace. Now is for sleep. You are sinking now, deeper and deeper into comfort. Down through the soft layers of your mattress, down through the quiet floor, down into the deep, steady peace of the earth itself. Like Lumi, you are cradled, you are held, you are safe. The world will continue to turn, the sun will rise, and all will be well. But you don't need to watch it. You can simply trust that it will. Your only job right now is to rest, to surrender to the gentle downward pull of sleep. The last little bit of your awareness is like a single tiny boat on a vast, calm sea. The shore is far behind you, and the horizon ahead is soft and misty. The boat rocks gently, back and forth,
back and forth. A gentle, lulling rhythm. With every rock, you drift a little further, a little deeper. The air is warm, the water is still, and the sky above is filled with the softest, gentlest starlight, the light of a million sleeping lumies, all dreaming their peaceful cosmic dreams. And now, even that little boat dissolves. There is no boat. There is no sea. There is only the feeling of floating, of drifting, of being held in a vast, soft, quiet space. It is the space between breaths, the space between thoughts. It is the beginning of your own deep and peaceful dreams. The apple tree holds its tiny star. The glimmer brook hums its morning song. The sun warms the sleeping garden. The world is safe. You are safe. All is quiet. All is well. And now it is time to sleep. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Rest. Just rest. And in that rest, in that perfect, silent space, a feeling begins. Not a thought, not an image, but a feeling of gentle movement. A slow, inevitable, and deeply comforting current is carrying you now. You are not floating on water, but within the very essence of peace itself. It is the glimmer brook, not as you imagined it, but as it truly is, the river of dreams that flows from the quiet heart of the world, carrying all things to a place of deep repose. You drift along its tranquil surface, a current of liquid starlight and slumber. The banks of the glimmer brook are not made of soil and stone, but of a soft, luminous moss that breathes a gentle emerald light. With every soft pulse of its glow, a wave of profound calm washes through you, easing away the last faded echoes of the waking world. You can feel the age of this place. The moss has been growing here for 1,000 quiet years, listening to the secrets of the night, and its light is the color of ancient lullabies. Beside the moss, there are stones. They are not the hard, cold stones of the day.
In this world of sleep, the stones are warm, as if they have been basking in a gentle sun for an eternity. They are impossibly smooth, polished by the slow, patient hands of time and the gentle flow of the dream current. As you drift by, you can feel their deep, silent slumber. They dream of their own making, of the slow, powerful pressures deep within the earth, of the patient shaping of water and wind. They dream of stillness, and their dream becomes your own. A profound, unshakable stillness settles deep within your bones, a feeling of being grounded and safe even as you float onward. The glimmer brook hums. It is the sound you heard before, but now you are inside it. It is not a sound that enters your ears, but a vibration that resonates in the very center of your being. It is a low, soothing, continuous note, the sound of the universe settling into its nightly rest. It is the hum of sleeping stars and dreaming nebulas, the gentle purr of a contented cosmos. This sound is a blanket, warm and weighted, wrapping around you, holding you close, murmuring that all is well, all is quiet, and all is at peace. You do not need to listen to it. You simply become part of the song. The air above the glimmer brook is soft and smells of night-blooming jasmine, of cool river stones, and of something else. Something like the scent of clean, crisp starlight. It is the scent of peace. With every breath you take, a slow, deep, effortless breath, you draw this peace into you. And with every gentle exhale, you release the very last remnants of tension you never even knew you were holding. Your shoulders soften and sink. The space between your eyebrows grows wide and smooth. Your hands are open and at rest. Every part of you is letting go, surrendering completely to the gentle journey. Now, the glimmer brook carries you into the heart of the sleeping garden. Here, the world is even more magical, even more serene. The moonlight is not coming from a moon in the sky. Instead, it seems to rise from the flowers themselves. The petals of the sleeping roses are spun from the softest silver light, and as you drift by, you can see their dreams. They dream of the warmth of the sun, of the gentle kiss of the morning dew. Their dreams are simple and beautiful and peaceful, and their peace flows out into the night air,
becoming part of the gentle current that carries you. You float past lavender stalks, their purple heads bowed in sleep. They do not release their scent into the air. Instead, they hum with it. A low, purple-colored hum, a gentle thrum of deep relaxation that soothes your mind and quiets your thoughts. You drift past tall, elegant lilies, their white trumpets closed for the night. They are dreaming a silent, pearlescent dream, a dream of pure stillness.
And as you pass, they share that stillness with you, a gift of perfect, unbroken tranquility. The leaves on the trees are not merely green, and the dreamlight of the garden, they are 100 different shades of slumber. There is the deep, velvet green of a forest floor, the soft, hazy green of a misty morning, the pale, silvery green of moonlight on sage. And each leaf is breathing, a slow, rhythmic, collective breath. The entire garden is breathing with you. Inhale, and the leaves glitter with a soft light. Exhale, and they release a gentle, contented sigh. You are breathing with the garden, in and out, in and out, a rhythm of perfect, effortless peace. And here, in the garden, you see the Lumos. They are not just distant stars in the sky. They are here, with you. They are tiny, hovering spheres of soft golden light, no bigger than a firefly. They are the gentle keepers of this sleeping world. You see one now, hovering over a single drop of dew on a spider's web. The web itself is strung with tiny diamonds of captured light. The Lumi touches the dewdrop with its own light, and a tiny, silent chime echoes through the garden, a note of pure clarity and peace. The Lumi is polishing the dew, making sure its dream is a happy one. Another Lumi drifts down to the roots of a great oak tree, its light sinking into the soil. It is carrying peace down to the deep places, whispering reassurances to the sleeping roots, reminding them of their strength, of their connection to the deep, steady heart of the world. Others float among the flowers, their gentle light like a soft caress on the sleeping petals. They are the gardeners of dreams, the weavers of tranquility. They move without sound, their only purpose to nurture the quiet and deepen the peace. They do not notice you, for you are now part of the peace they tend. You are as much a part of this garden as the sleeping flowers and the silent, dreaming stones. You belong here. You are safe here. The Glimmerbrook's current slows as you approach the center of the garden, turning in a wide, slow spiral. And there, you see it, the apple tree. It is ancient, its trunk wide and gnarled, its branches reaching out like loving arms. It is the heart of the garden, the source of its profound and unshakable calm. The air around it is thick with a feeling of deep, abiding peace. This tree has witnessed 1,000 seasons of sleep, 1,000,000 quiet nights. It holds the memory of every peaceful dream ever dreamt in this garden. Its bark is a map of tranquility, and its leaves whisper a single, timeless truth on the soft night air: rest. And there, nestled on one of the highest branches, is the tiny star you heard about. It is the Heart Lumi, the brightest and most serene of them all. Its light is not a brilliant shine, but a deep, warm, and steady glow. It is the glow of a hearth on a cold night, the glow of a candle in a quiet room, the glow of a loving heart. This light does not push the darkness away. It blends with it, creating a perfect, harmonious twilight. This light is pure safety. It is pure love. It is pure peace. And it pours down from the branches of the tree, bathing the entire garden, bathing you in its unconditional, silent blessing. You do not need to do anything. You simply float here, in the gentle eddy of the Glimmerbrook, beneath the branches of the ancient tree, bathed in the light of the Heart Lumi. You can feel the deep roots of the tree reaching down, down, down into the earth, anchoring this place, anchoring you, in a profound and immovable stillness. You can feel the gentle branches reaching up, up, up into the cosmos, connecting this garden, connecting you, to the vast, silent peace of the sleeping universe. You are at the center of everything, and the center is perfectly still, perfectly quiet, perfectly safe. Now a new feeling begins,
a gentle downward pull, not of falling, but of settling, of sinking into the deepest comfort you have ever known. Your awareness, carried so gently by the Glimmerbrook, now drifts away from the surface. You are leaving the beautiful garden behind, but you are not leaving its peace. You are taking it with you, deep inside. You are sinking down, following the path of the apple tree's great roots. Down you go, through the soft, dark soil. It is not cold or damp. It is warm and rich and smells of ancient forests and deep, quiet slumber. You can feel the dreams of the earth itself here, the slow, patient dreams of rock and crystal, the deep, rhythmic pulse of the planet's quiet heart. The humming of the Glimmerbrook fades, replaced by a deeper, slower, more profound silence. The light of the Loomis fades, replaced by a soft, comfortable darkness that feels like a velvet blanket. You are sinking deeper and deeper now, past the dreaming roots, past the sleeping stones, down into the very foundation of the world. This is the place before dreams begin, the place before thoughts are formed. It is a place of pure being, a place of absolute rest. There is no movement here, no sound, no light. There is only the feeling of being held, of being completely, utterly, and perfectly supported by the deep, steady strength of the earth. There is nothing left for you to do, nothing to see, nothing to hear. Your journey is over. You have been carried gently from the awareness of the world through the soft landscape of dreams and into the deep, silent core of rest itself. You have arrived.
All the images of the story, the Glimmerbrook, the garden, the Loomis, the ancient tree, dissolve now like sugar in warm water. They have done their work. They have brought you here, to this place of profound peace. And now they release you to it. They fade away, leaving only their gift, a feeling of deep, boundless, and untroubled calm. There is only the darkness now, a soft and welcoming darkness. There is only the silence, a deep and healing silence. There is only the stillness, a perfect and absolute stillness. And there is only you, resting, healing, sleeping. You are at the very bottom of the deep, calm ocean of sleep. And all that is left is the slow, gentle, rhythmic tide of your own breath, in and out. A slow, easy rhythm. The rhythm of deep, deep sleep. Every breath is a wave of peace. Every breath pulls you deeper. Every breath anchors you more firmly in this perfect state of rest. The world is far away. Tomorrow is far away. Yesterday is far away. There is only here. There is only now. And now is for sleep. Deep, healing, peaceful sleep. Rest now. Sleep now. Just rest. Sleep. Deeply. The slow, gentle tide of your breath is the only movement in the universe. It is an ancient rhythm, a quiet song that has been sung since the beginning of time. It is the rhythm of the resting earth, the sleeping stars, the silent, dreaming moon. You do not have to think about it. You do not have to control it. Your body remembers this song perfectly. It breathes for you. It carries you on its soft and steady waves, deeper and deeper into the quiet heart of the night, in and out. Each wave is a gentle release. Each breath a quiet letting go. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to carry. Your hands are open and soft. Your shoulders are heavy and released. Your mind, once a busy sky of swirling thoughts, is now clear and vast and dark, like the deep space between the stars. It is empty. It is peaceful. It is at rest. The memory of the Glimmerbrook's gentle song has not vanished completely. You don't need to remember it, you don't need to hear it, but its essence remains. It has become the deep, profound quiet that now fills you. The sound has transformed into its opposite, a perfect and healing silence. A silence that hums with peace. The soft light of the Loomis, the gentle, glowing companions of your journey, has not gone out.
It has simply been drawn inward. It now resides deep within you, a tiny, steady ember of warmth and safety in the center of your being. It is a quiet, inner glow that soothes and protects you as you sleep. A gentle warmth in your heart, a feeling of being perfectly, completely safe. The sweet, calming scent of the night-blooming flowers in the secret garden still lingers, but not in the air around you.
It has become the very fragrance of your peace. The air you breathe in and out, so slowly, so gently, is filled with this essence of deep tranquility. Every breath is a breath of pure, untroubled calm, and the strength of the great, ancient tree, its roots reaching down into the foundation of the world, that strength is your own strength now. You can feel it. The feeling of being held, of being supported, is no longer coming from outside of you. It is rising from within. You are anchored in your own deep center. You are rooted in your own profound stillness. You are held safely by your own deep, peaceful self. All the gifts of the journey are now a part of you. The peace of the water, the light of the stars, the calm of the garden, the strength of the earth. They have woven themselves into the fabric of your rest. They are here, with you, in this deep and healing place. You are floating now in the boundless, silent ocean of deep sleep. The weight of the water above is not a burden. It is a blanket, a thick, heavy, comforting blanket that holds you securely and blocks out all the noise and all the light of the waking world. It is perfectly dark here, perfectly silent, perfectly still. Down here, in the profound depths of rest, time itself moves differently. Seconds stretch into long, silken threads. Minutes become hours of deep, unbroken peace. The relentless clock of the world has no power here. There is only the slow, patient, healing pulse of the night. Every tiny cell in your body is sighing a deep sigh of relief. Every muscle has given up its last bit of tension. Your forehead is smooth and cool. Your jaw is soft and relaxed. Your neck and shoulders have melted into the surface beneath you. Your arms and legs are heavy, so very heavy, with a pleasant, deeply relaxing weight. They are anchors, holding you gently in this harbor of sleep. The energy that you use during the day to think, to move, to speak, to feel, is now being lovingly restored. Deep within you, tiny, invisible rivers of healing energy are flowing to every part of your being. They are mending what is tired. They are soothing what is sore. They are refilling the deep wells of your strength and your vitality. You do not have to do anything to make this happen. It is the natural, sacred work of the night. It is the gift of deep sleep. If any stray thoughts should drift by, they are like faint, faraway clouds in a vast night sky. You can notice them if you wish, but they are not yours to hold. They are thin and transparent. They have no weight. They simply drift on by, dissolving back into the quiet emptiness from which they came. They cannot disturb you here. They cannot reach you in this deep, protected space. Your mind is quiet. Your mind is calm. Your mind is free. The journey of this day is complete. Everything that needed to be done is done. Everything that needed to be said has been said. You can release it all now. Let it all drift away on the slow, outgoing tide of your breath. The joys, the challenges, the conversations, the tasks, they all belong to a time that is past. You can let them go. They are releasing their hold on you, and you are releasing your hold on them. You are free. And tomorrow is a distant shore, a beautiful sunlit shore, but it is far, far away. You do not need to think about it. You do not need to plan for it. The deep, calm ocean of sleep lies between you and that shore, and you have all the time in the world to cross it. The night is long and deep and generous. It will give you all the rest you need. When the time is right, and not a moment before, the first gentle light of a new day will find you. It will not be a sudden awakening, but a soft, gradual blooming. You will rise from these depths slowly, peacefully, bringing the calm and the quiet and the strength of the night with you. You will wake up feeling refreshed, renewed, and completely restored.
But that time is not now, not for a long, long while. Now is for the deep, now is for the dark, now is for the silence. There is only this perfect stillness, this profound peace, this deep healing and absolute rest. There is nothing left to do, nowhere left to go, nothing left but to sink even deeper, to let go even more completely, to rest, to heal, to sleep. The story is over now. Its only purpose was to carry you here, to the very edge of sleep, and to gently let you go. Drift now, float, rest, peace. Deep, deep peace. Sleep, sleep now, sleep. And so you do. You sink into sleep. It is not a fall, but a gentle, supported lowering, like a single, perfect leaf detaching from its branch, not to crash to the ground, but to be caught by a soft, unseen current and carried slowly, spiraling down into a vast, welcoming quiet. Deeper and deeper you drift, past the surface levels of slumber, where the echoes of the day's last thoughts still ripple. You drift right through them, and they part for you like mist. Past the currents of half-remembered dreams, the flotsam of faces and conversations. They glide by, harmless and distant, unable to catch you. For you are descending to a place they cannot reach. The water, if it is water, grows warmer here. It is the perfect temperature of absolute comfort, a gentle, swaddling pressure that holds you completely. It is a profound embrace, the kind you have always longed for. It holds your tired body, your weary mind, your tender heart, and it says, without a single word, you are safe. You are held. You can let go of everything.
I have you. And as you sink further, you notice a change. A soft light begins to bloom in the deep, a gentle luminescence that does not startle but soothes. It is not like sunlight or moonlight, but a light that seems to come from within the stillness itself. You have arrived at the seabed of dreams, the very foundation of your rest. This is not a barren place. It is a garden, a vast, silent, underwater garden of the soul. Instead of coral, there are soft, glowing structures that pulse with a slow, peaceful rhythm, the rhythm of your own deepest, calmest heartbeat. They pulse with colors you have never seen, colors that speak of tranquility, of healing, of a peace that is ancient and endless. The sand on this seabed is not sand, it is stardust, soft and cool and smooth. It is the dust of forgotten worries, of resolved problems, of every moment of peace you have ever known, all gathered here to create a soft bed for your spirit to land upon. And as you settle here, you feel no weight at all. You are a part of the gentle, effortless suspension of the deep. Slow, silent currents drift through this garden. These are the currents of pure restoration. They are not made of water, but of stillness itself. They move through you, not around you, and with their passing, they gently wash away the last invisible grains of tension you might still be holding. Feel one of these currents as it finds the muscles in your shoulders and your neck. It flows through them, and they soften, lengthen, and release completely. It finds the tiny, tired muscles around your eyes, and they smooth out, letting go of all they have seen today. It finds your jaw, and it unhinges ever so slightly, releasing words unsaid and efforts held too tightly. This current of peace flows everywhere, from the crown of your head to the very tips of your toes, a silent, cleansing river that leaves only profound ease in its wake. Look around this garden. There is no other life here, no fish to dart about, no creatures to disturb the perfect quiet. There is only the soft, glowing light, the gentle pulse of peace, and the slow, eternal dance of the healing currents. This place was made for you, and for you alone. It is your own private sanctuary at the very bottom of the ocean of sleep. The distant shore of tomorrow is no longer visible from here. It is not even a memory. The concept of time itself has dissolved. There is no before, no after.
There is only this deep, luminous, and eternal now, a now that stretches for the entire night, a vast and generous expanse of perfect rest. Here, in the heart of the quiet, your body knows exactly what to do. Every cell is breathing in this peace, repairing itself, renewing its strength.
Your mind, free from the burden of thought, is reordering itself, filing away the day into a distant archive, creating clear, open space. Your spirit, held in this unconditional safety, is mending, becoming whole, remembering its own inherent calm. You do not need to do anything to make this happen. You do not need to try to relax. You do not need to try to heal. You are in the place where relaxation and healing are the very air, the very water, the very light. All you have to do is be here. To exist in this space is to be renewed. Your breath is the tide now, slow and deep and even, indistinguishable from the gentle currents that surround you. Your heartbeat is the slow, silent pulse of the glowing coral. Your peace is the water's stillness. The boundaries have blurred. You are not just visiting this place, you are a part of it. You are the deep. You are the quiet. You are the peace. There is nothing to disturb you here. Nothing can reach you at this depth. You are utterly, completely, and profoundly safe. Held, healed, whole. There is nothing left to do now but be. Nothing left to hold but this peace. Nothing left but to rest in the gentle, glowing heart of the night. Rest now. This deep, silent peace is yours, all night long, until the sun. Rest. Deep, deep rest. Sleep. And so you do. You drift in that sleep, a weightless, wondrous being. The great, slow currents of the deep cradle you, carrying you on an aimless journey through the silent, luminous landscapes of your own inner peace. You float past gardens of slumber lilies, their petals made of woven moonlight, each one pulsing with a soft, benevolent glow in time with your own slow, steady heart. They are ancient, these flowers of rest, and they release tiny, shimmering bubbles of pure serenity. The bubbles rise and drift, popping gently against you, leaving faint, cooling trails of starlight on your peaceful form. There is no destination here, no goal to reach. There is only the journey itself, a meandering, gentle passage through profound tranquility. The ocean floor beneath you is not made of rock or sand, but of settled starlight, a fine silver dust that holds the quiet wisdom of a million silent nights. Faint whispers, like the memory of forgotten lullabies, ride upon the currents, weaving through the water, telling tales of rest and renewal. They are not words you can understand, but a feeling you absorb, a feeling of absolute safety and endless calm. If any tiny remnant of the day, any last lingering thought or worry still remains, you can see it now for what it is. A tiny, smooth, dark pebble held loosely in the palm of your spirit. You don't have to throw it or fight it. You simply open your hand and you watch as the current gently takes it. It tumbles slowly, end over end, sinking down, down, down into the endless deep. You watch it until it lands softly on the bed of starlight sand and, in a soft puff of light, dissolves completely, becoming just another speck of peaceful, luminous dust. You are lighter now, so much lighter. Gentle schools of dreams, like shimmering, translucent fish, swim by in the distance. They are not your dreams yet. They are the pure potential of story and image, weaving their silent, graceful way through the night. They pay you no mind, and you watch them with a detached, peaceful curiosity. Their presence is just another beautiful, living texture in this world of rest. A quiet promise of the gentle adventures that await you on the other side of this deep stillness. The currents carry you onward, deeper still, toward the very heart of the quiet. The light here becomes even softer, a warm, pearlescent glow that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The water becomes utterly still, as smooth and clear as flawless glass. This is the core of the night, the absolute center of stillness.
Here, all movement ceases, all sound dissolves into a perfect healing silence. There is only being. You are held in this perfect silent center, a seed of peace resting in the fertile darkness, gathering strength for a dawn you do not need to think about. All that you are is being restored. All that you need is flowing into you. You are home, here in the stillness, here in the deep. This is where you will stay, all night long, cradled in the quiet heart of the world, safe in the sanctuary of your own being, drifting in the endless, gentle ocean of sleep. There is nothing more now, only this peace, only this quiet, only this rest. Sleep now, sleep deep. Good night.